Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Camille, Aiko. I hope that you are living the life that you love spiritually, mentally, physically, and financially. Hopefully, you all have had a wonderful Tuesday, and I'm excited about getting into this chapter of the 10X rule. So as you're coming on, make sure you put a 1 below if you're watching this live with me. Drop a 2 if you're catching this on replay. Hey, what's going on, David? Haven't seen you on my lives here in a while. Good. How have you been? Birthday is coming up. Woo, 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 woo. So welcome everybody as you all are coming on. Make sure you put a 1 if you're watching it live, just so I can go back and know when people are watching the videos. Hey, Jessica. Hey, Smith. Is it Sabri? Am I saying that right? So make sure you guys are sharing this video. When you share it, you are going to be entered into my weekly drawings. And so it's going to be gift cards, cash prizes, or some of my products. Okay? All right. What's going on, Nana? 1. If you're catching this replay, make sure you drop those 2s. Make sure you're sharing this video so that you can get entered into the drawing. So good evening, everybody. So we are on chapter 2. We are on chapter 2 of the 10X rule. Okay, I'm gonna hold it here a little longer because I know you have to read it backwards, right? So we're on chapter 2 of the 10X rule, and I'm excited. I got excited while I was reading this chapter. And I hope that we can take away some good stuff and have some good discussion. Hey, what's going on, Charlotta? Can't wait for you to get your tea. All right, so let's just kind of review what we talked about on yesterday. The 10X rule is essentially increasing your actions 10 times and increasing your mindset, your thought process by 10 times to ensure that the goals that you're going after, you're not selling yourself short, that you're actually going to reach what it is that you want. So some of us, you know, we might only want $100, so we set our goal for $100, but the thing is that life happens, things go wrong, plans change, and so then we end up coming short of the $100, right? So it's almost like thinking about this as making stretch goals. So you're not just thinking about the $100. You're going to set this as, all right, instead of doing 100, I'm going to make 1,000, because if I fall short, then I'd rather fall short on trying to get to $1,000 than falling short on the $100. So this is a guaranteed way to be able to reach your goals, because then all of your action plans, all of your action steps is going to be developed and created so that you can reach something even higher than what you initially had anticipated. I'm good, been busy. Yes, it's party time. Yes, David. Happy birthday again. Okay, so this is what the 10X rule is. The 10X rule is, okay, you have these goals that you want to meet, and now instead of just putting in the small amount of thinking and the small amount of effort to get there, you're going to put in 10 times the effort, you're going to put in 10 times the thought, and you're really going to create a plan that is going to allow you to get. Corelli, what's going on, honey? Yeah, I met Corelli while I was in Puerto Rico. She is such a sweetheart. Love you, dear. So she's working on her English, and I'll be working on my Spanish more here soon. Okay, but that is kind of the recap of 10X rule. If anybody was on here, you've been reading the book with me, make sure that you drop down in the comments anything that you have to add, because you all know that sometimes I can get off on a tangent or I forget, and I'm not talking about what I'm supposed to be talking about. Okay, let me go here to the back here just to make sure. Oh, yes, here's one of the points that I want to hit on before we start talking about chapter 2, is that it says, why is it a problem to set a goal too low? And again, I kind of hit on this earlier, but I just want to reiterate it, is that you won't reach, hey, Bryant, what's going on? You won't reach your full potential if you set your goals too low, and you end up selling yourself short. Right? When you could have had something so much greater, so much bigger, had something that you truly desired, and yet because you didn't think big enough, because you didn't put enough action behind it, you just have to settle. And too many people are just settling, and that's why you're not happy right now. It's kind of like, if I could just get this job, then I'll be okay, right? But the thing is, you're not okay. You're getting a check, but you're not happy with what you're doing. This is the majority of people. Hi. All right. So we want to make sure that what we're doing is something that we love, right? We want to make sure that what we're doing is at our highest potential, and that we continue to go, and we continue to go higher, we continue to go higher, and continue to go higher. Okay, so now let's go ahead and jump in. I forgot my water tonight, but jump into chapter 2. And so chapter 2 is talking about why the 10x rule. Hey, Kimberly, what's going on? Why the 10x rule is vital to anybody and everybody, and especially when you're talking about achieving your goals. Here's the thing in life. It never goes as planned, right? We set our goals. We say this is what we're going to do, and then something happens. And that something could be dealing with your finances. That something could be a death in the family. That something could be something that maybe you started a new business, right? And then you have all of these different situations come in that you really didn't think about. Maybe the pipes burst, and now you have this extra financial cost. So when we're going through life, we understand, hey, what's going on, Tiana? All right. So we understand that things are going to happen, and things are going to change. Our plans are going to change, and we have to be flexible. The problem is that in being flexible, we don't have another option. It's kind of like, okay, well, this happened, but now what? We just kind of go with the flow, like, oh, well, whatever comes my way now. And so what Grant is saying in this book, I'm sorry, I didn't even say the author's name, Grant Cardone, is the author of the 10X Rule, the book that we're reading, okay? What he is saying, I need help so bad on finance. So many of us do. So hopefully this book will help you even setting your goals, your financial goals. Okay, so what Grant is saying is that when things go wrong, if you have already from the very beginning put enough thought into the problems and the planning, then when issues come up, you're not stuck with only option A, which is now out because you've had all of these problems, right? Now you actually have options on what's your next move? How do you maneuver? What do you do next? What's your next strategy, right? So all of this is already thought about beforehand versus trying to back up and say, okay, well, now let me replan, let me redo, let me rethink about, now you're scrambling, right? And now you're at a place of desperation, and you look real thirsty, and nobody's attracted to that. And so nobody is buying into whatever it is your goal is because you don't even believe, because now you're so down and you just don't know the direction that you're trying to go. So this is why you have to plan ahead. There's the quote that says that when you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And that is what we don't want to do. We don't want to be planning to fail. So even sometimes when we have our plans, the problem is we haven't thought about the plan thoroughly enough. This is where, again, the 10X rule, and I'm going to hound this in because maybe you haven't bought the book yet and you haven't read it. And so you need to keep hearing it over and over and over again, that the 10X rule is making sure that you think about it 10 times more. You're putting much more thought into whatever it is that you're trying to achieve. You're putting 10 times more thought. You're putting 10 times more the effort into whatever it is that you're going after, okay? Why are they not attracted to thirsty over here? Okay, so when thirsty is slang terminology, all right? So when you seem like you're in a desperate place, most people aren't attracted to in just the energy levels, right? The energy levels of someone being desperate. They want to partner with somebody in business who knows what they're doing and not just out there scrambling and just kind of like, I'll take whatever, right? Okay, so Nana, is that clear for you? I'm sorry about that. Okay. So people want to partner with people who know what they're doing. They want to partner with people who seem like they've got a good grasp, a good understanding, and they're not just out there accepting anything because they have to, because they're at that point of desperation. Okay. So he says the 10X thinking and actions are vital. They are the only things that will get you through these events. Talking about the problems of life, talking about the things that we encounter as we're starting new businesses, as you're trying to develop new relationships. And so some of the examples that he gives is economic changes, legal matters, competition, resistance to converting, too new of a product, banks freezing up, market uncertainty, technology changes, people problems, more people problems, right? And especially in my industry, you know, there's always people problems because I'm in network marketing. So I'm always networking and dealing with people. And so with that are going to come problems. And we have to learn how to think 10 times more than what we need to to overcome them and still be able to hit the target that we want to hit. All right. So he says it's not enough. Let me see. Am I jumping ahead here? No. He says it's not enough to occupy territory. You have to be able to keep it. So this means that you have to have all of the tools that are necessary to overcome the challenges that are coming in your life. So he says, you know, money alone cannot fix your problems. It can help, but it can't do the job for you. If you march into any battle without the proper troops, supplies, ammunition, and staying power, you will return home defeated. And I don't know about you all, but I don't want to be defeated. I don't want to have a year where I'm looking back over the things that I've wanted to do in life in this coming year and then say I was defeated. To be able to say that I didn't have everything that I needed. That's why we're going over this book. Right? Because we want to make sure that we have everything that we need so that we can come out victoriously on top of the things that we say that we desire in our lives. Yes, Tiana, dominate. And good evening to everyone who's joining in. This is your first time joining me. We are reading the 10X Rule, which is a book by Grant Cardone, okay? And we are on chapter 2. So if you haven't already gotten the book, make sure you get it. Make sure you share this video to be entered into the weekly drawing that we'll be having. It'll be money. It will be prizes, gift cards, and free products. Okay. All right. So now Grant, the author, begins to give this example of his life. And he's just saying, you know, when he was 29, he started his own business. He was very optimistic about it. He quit his job and he's like, okay, it's going to take me 3 months to be able to work this business and start making the amount of money that I was making on my job. Well, it ends up that it takes him 12 times longer, all right, than what he anticipated. Hey, Joanna. And so from there, he's down, he's disappointed. He's starting to come up with a long list of why it shouldn't work and why he just needs to go back and get this job and forget about the business plan. And how many of us have been in a place in our life where we have said, you know what, I'm just in over my head. Like, I thought I had this great plan. I was really optimistic about it, but it's just not going to work. And so we end up quitting because of that. Well, Grant is saying, don't quit. What he's saying is instead, in the very beginning of the process, make sure that you plan properly so that when you have these down moments, you know what to do. Hey, Evelyn, when you have these down moments, you already know what to do. So then it's not a matter of going back to the drawing board. It's a matter of sticking to the plan that you have already established. We spend too much time trying to backtrack and then trying to figure out, okay, well, what is the next thing, right? And this is what Grant is trying to help us to stop doing. That's right, Deborah. Don't quit. Okay. So he said, you know, I had a very specific list of reasons why my company wasn't going to work. I had compiled in an attempt to talk myself out of continuing. Like, we talk ourselves right out of our blessings. We talk ourselves right out of that thing that we've been praying for, that we've been asking God for, that thing, right, the reset button. But we don't have to hit the reset button if we plan properly in the very beginning. Exactly. So, we just talk ourselves right out of these blessings. It's funny. I recall a woman, she partnered with me in business, okay? And she was just like, I'm not going to do this. I don't want to do it. And then she said, well, I asked God for a sign and God gave me the sign. So that's why I partnered with you in business. And I truly believe that this is what God would have me to do. It's like, okay, great, let's do it, right? And then she quits. And I'm like, but I thought God told you. Like, so either you're lying or God lying. Like, somebody's lying. I don't think it was God, though. But my point to that is we can get to a place where we completely walk away from what it is that is going to be the blessing that we need in our lives, but it's our own self-talk that does it. It's not the enemy. It's not outside voices. It's you. It is your own inside thoughts. It is your own negativity. It is your own self-doubt. And all of that stems from not properly preparing, not utilizing 10 times the action that you need, not utilizing 10 times the thought that you need in order to create your goals. Yes, no, you have to, because we'll blame something quickly on the devil, right? We'll put it on the enemy. And it's like, it's not the enemy, it's you. It is absolutely you. And we cut off the enemy's work because he doesn't have to do anything because we're doing all the foolishness ourselves, right? And Evelyn, so many of us have the foundation is faulty. Yes, Nana. Yes, it's the battle within ourselves. And this is going to help us to stop that. Okay? Because we have to get clear on what it is that we want. We have to get clear on what it is that we're going after and then create a solid plan. Okay. So he says, I eventually realized after reading so much or spending so much time, not reading, I'm reading, spending so much time trying to figure out why things weren't working out, that it was completely possible that I was missing the answer entirely. He says, I never considered that I had merely incorrectly estimated what it would take to move a new product into the marketplace at the very beginning of the process. Okay. So again, going back to the whole point that if you really take the time to think about it and put the effort in the very beginning of the process, you will save yourself a whole lot of disappointment. Not saying that there won't be disappointment, but you will save yourself a lot of disappointment by properly executing the action and creating the plan, putting the thought behind it. Okay. So he said what he finally came to the conclusion of, and if you're taking notes, I want you to remember this. I made the post earlier as I was reading this chapter. It says, if it was going to work, it would depend on my ability to increase my efforts, not my excuses. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. Absolutely, Joanna. Okay, so again, I'm going to read this sentence again. If this was going to work, it would depend on my ability to increase my efforts, not my excuses. We have problems. They come into our lives. They're going to come. It is not a matter of if, they are. Problems are going to come. What we have to get to the point is to say it's my responsibility to take my efforts and overcome it, versus giving life a bunch of excuses, giving everybody excuses on why it can't be done. There's just some people who have an excuse for every blessed thing. And it's kind of like, why don't you just increase your activity, increase your actions? Stop coming up with these excuses, because the more you've come up with these excuses, the further away you're going to get from reaching your goals. The more excuses you create, the further away you are going to get from reaching your goals. Increase efforts. Yes. I'm motivated and excited. Thank you for the inspiration. You are welcome, Brian. Okay, so he says, once I quit calculating all the wrong reasons, like we all do, we sit there and we'll calculate all the wrong reasons on why it's not going to work, why this business isn't going to work, why my financial plan isn't going to work, why this relationship is not going to work, why this plan isn't going to work, why I can't go on this vacation, why I can't do this, why I can't do that. Like we come up with all of these reasons, all of these excuses. So stop focusing on that. We talked a lot about that on the last book. What you focus on grows. So if you focus on all the reasons on why it won't work, guess what? It's not going to work. But if you focus on the positive, you focus on the reasons why it will work, guess what? It will work, because then your thoughts are in motion. You can create a plan that matches your thoughts, which then means that your actions are going to match your thoughts, and you're going to be able to execute and manifest. Just turned off the news. Cool. What's going on, everybody? Okay, so now he says, I committed to making this work by increasing my efforts 10 times. As soon as I did that, everything started to change immediately. I went back into the marketplace with the right estimation of effort and started seeing results. Instead of making 2 to 3 sales calls a day, I started doing 20 to 30. Now, hey, Wilbert, you did make it. All right, so whatever it is. Now, Grant is talking about business, but whatever it is in your life, increase the action. Increase whatever it is that you want to do, or think about it from your job. What is it that you want to change? What do you need to get better at? Maybe it's something you've really been struggling with. Get the right action, get the right thought process, and increase it. Increase it by 10 times. So again, instead of making 2 to 3 sales calls a day, he started doing 20 to 30. When I ramped up my full commitment and aligned the correct levels of thought and action, right? Aligning the right levels of thought and action. You can't just think about it, and you can't just be out here wildly doing a bunch of activity. You have to match your thoughts and your actions together so that it can be intentional. Then when it comes together, it makes a whole lot of sense to you and everybody around you, right? And it is just get right action, get right thought process, increase it. Yes. And so when you pair it together, it just makes sense for everybody. God, the universe, like God can be like, oh yes, child, you are no longer confused. I can bless you with this now because I can trust you with it, because I know that you're going to take care of it. You're just not out here being ambiguous, right? Okay. So now when I ramped up my full commitment, aligned the correct levels of thought and action, the marketplace started responding to me. So what does he mean by that? So he's saying that the same people that he was calling, he was going out there making these sales calls. When he started to increase the action and got his thought process aligned, that the marketplace, so other people, the people he was trying to get the money from and do business with, they started responding to him. It was still hard, and I was disappointed from time to time, but I was getting 4 times the results by making 10 times the effort. So you're in business, you're at your job, you're in the relationship, whatever it is, start doing more of the correct actions. Not the wrong actions, but the correct actions. So we even talked last night. Wilbert, I'm going to use you as an example, right? We were talking about the relationship piece, and he said, there was a girl, his ex, and hopefully you don't mind me resharing, Wilbert. His ex didn't want him to spend as much time with him or with her. I'm sorry, not him, with her. And so maybe that wasn't the right action for her. And so because of that, that's one of the things that drew them apart. You have to make sure that whatever action, thank you, Wilbert, whatever action you are doing is the correct action. Make sure you are producing the right action and then multiplying that times 10. Because see, you can do an action, you can multiply it by 10, but if it's the wrong thing, you're going to continue to get the wrong results. So this is part of the planning. This is part of understanding what is the right strategy. How do I need to go about this? What do I need to do? Right? Yeah, my bad. Okay. As Tiana is laughing at me. Okay, so remember, it is the right thought process and the right actions. All right. Now, he says, when you have underestimated the time, energy, and effort necessary to do something, you will have quit in your mind, voice, posture, face, and presentation. You won't develop the persistence necessary to get your mission accomplished. Okay, so when we underestimate what it is that we need in order to get something done, that's when we start talking about, okay, I quit. I'm done. I don't know. I don't know what else to do, right? You become just dumbfounded. You become speechless, whatever. I'm not going to do this anymore. It's not meant for me. Like as soon as you have the issue or the problem that comes up, now you have the I quit spirit. And that is because of our lack of planning, our poor planning, because we only plan for the bare minimum versus going above and beyond. Okay, so he says, however, when you correctly estimate the effort necessary, you will assume the appropriate posture. The marketplace will sense by your actions that you are a force to be reckoned with and are not going away, and it will respond accordingly. So tonight, yes, tonight you are the guinea pig. Tonight, I need you all to understand, and yes, Grant is in sales. Yes. I need you all to understand that you have the power to be the force to be reckoned with. So we need to start declaring that I am a force to be reckoned with. I am a force to be reckoned with. I am a force to be reckoned with. I don't care what the problem is. I don't care what the situation is. You posture up. You get your plan together. You estimate everything that you need in order to accomplish what you want to accomplish 10 times. And then you look at yourself in the mirror. You look at yourself in the eye and say, I am a force to be reckoned with, right? And then, like we talked about yesterday, and as Tiana already mentioned on tonight, we dominate. Whatever it is, that relationship, you're going to dominate. You're going to let that person know, hey, I am the one, right? You're going to let that manager know I am the one. I am the force to be reckoned with. You don't want anybody else in this position. You want me in this position because I dominate. This is what I do. Wilbert, yeah. Yes, me. I'm a force to be reckoned with. I'm a force to be reckoned with. Yes. So, where am I here? Oh, and let them know you're not going anywhere, right? Sometimes people come and go, and so nobody takes them seriously. Like you can look at somebody's track record like, oh, they're not going to be around long. They never are, and pay them no mind. You don't want to be that person. You want to be the person that has a track record that says, you know what? This person is a stick and stay type of person, and give them something to fear. I was thinking about this earlier, right? Let's think about like McDonald's, because everybody is familiar with McDonald's, right? So when you can go to any street just about and see or exit, and you're going to see McDonald's after McDonald's after McDonald's, right? It's crazy. But they're not concerned about the Five Guys and the Burger King and all that. They will plop their little place right there, and they will expect to get customers, and they will bring in money, and they will generate revenue, right? Why is it that they are so bold, and why they can dominate the fast food industry? It's because they have properly planned. They have properly prepared. They have systems in place that help them to do what they do. So it doesn't matter what McDonald's you go to, you are going to be doing the same thing. You're going to make the fries the same way. You're going to make the sandwiches the same way. You're going to run the cash register the same way. And they're not concerned about what everybody else is doing per se. Yes, they are aware, but they are not concerned because they know what they have to offer. Do you know what you have to offer? Do you have anything to offer? And if you don't have anything to offer, then you need to get something to offer. Get confirmed in what it is that you are offering. Know that you are adding value. And that is how you begin to own it. That is how, yes, dedication. Right. So that is how you And not only dedication, but all of dedication to the process, right? Dedication to making sure they do have a huge advertising budget, but they didn't always, right? But now they're giants because they came in and they dominate, and they have said, this is what we do. And this is why McDonald's is not only here in the US, right? But they're all around the world. Why everybody knows what those golden arches are. We know that that's McDonald's. And I don't care how young you are, and I don't care how old you are, you know that McDonald's is there. And you, right? You used to work there, right? And a lot of people will start out their jobs at McDonald's. Why? Because it's a trusted place. People, they have set their standard, right? So now, of course, we're all a little bit wiser, and we may not pour out all of our money into McDonald's. I know some of y'all still eat there. Otherwise, they still wouldn't be open, right? But so this is not that. And I'm not advocating go eat all the Happy Meals and the fried foods and everything at McDonald's. But what I'm saying is that they have learned how to dominate. They have learned how to say, I am a force to be reckoned with. And I don't care if there's 10 other burger places on the same street. I'm putting my building here, and I know that I'm going to win. I know that I'm going to have customers coming through this door, going through the drive-thru. I know that it's about to go down. And I don't care about you Five Guys. I don't care about you Burger King. What are some other burger places? Arby's is not a burger place, but it's fast food. I don't care about you Sonic, whatever. And that's the type of posture that we need to have about what it is that we're going. So it's not a cockiness, it's a confidence, right? If I know what I have to offer, I dominate this, I'm a force to be reckoned with, and I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. Y'all can't make me go nowhere. Somebody else can come out and say, hey, I'm Camille, Aiko, and I hope that you're living the life that you love spiritually, mentally, physically, and financially. But you know what? I'm not going anywhere because I am the original. I am the force to be reckoned with. So all these imitators can go somewhere, right? Like that is how we need to be, okay? 10X rule in full effect, 10 times the action, 10 times the thought process. Let's get these goals done in 2018, right? All right, that's what we do. Social, I have not been there since 1996, but you still know who McDonald's is, and they're still going, right? LOL, Wilbert. Culver's, I do miss the McRib, right? Y'all remember when McDonald's had like the little record, and it had the Big Mac song on it? All right, yeah, Wendy's. How can I forget about Wendy's and Hardee's, right? So we have all of these restaurants, but McDonald's is still one of the most popular ones, hands down, right? Okay, so just using them as an example. You all get what I'm saying, right? Okay, so let me find where I was. And if you have the book and you're following along, I'm on page 15. All right, now, why we quit, boom, boom, boom. I've consulted with thousands of individuals and companies over the past 20 years, and I've never seen one of them correctly estimate effort and think. We all go in here, and I think it's not that we do it on purpose, right? It's because we become so optimistic and we're so excited about what it is that we're going to bring to the table that we don't think about how other people will receive it. And we can come up with an idea that is not necessarily like no one's asking for it. It may not even be a need, or people don't understand that it's a need. So you have to really think through why you're doing what you're doing and how to present it to other people. And don't just think because it's a good idea for you that it's going to be a good idea for everybody, or that they're going to see it right away. Okay, so you really have to sit down and take the time to plan it all out. Plan it out. It's okay to take some time to plan it out for the person that you want to pursue. Don't just be like, hey girl, you look good. Come here, what your name is. You can really like her. But you know what? Your approach, baby, was all wrong. And guess what? She's probably going to keep on walking, or she's going to lie to you and tell you that she has a man. Okay? So what am I saying? Whatever it is that you want to do, make sure you think it through. Think it through with the right process. And then put the right action behind it and do it better than anybody else. It's because excellence is what's paying out here, not half stuff. Don't come at it half stepping, because it's not going to work. So you better come at it full force, come at it with all you have, give it your best, and make sure that you are adding value. Make sure that what you are offering is something that people actually will want to pay for. Grab their attention with your boldness. Grab their attention with your effort. Yes, be that McDonald's that's on every corner. Be that McDonald's that's off every exit. Make it so hard for whatever it is or whoever it is to ignore you. You have to make your presence known. Hey, here I am. I'm not going anywhere. I dominate this. I am the force to be reckoned with, because you know what? I put 10 times more effort in. I put 10 times more thought in. So that means somebody can be smarter than you, have a greater education than you, but because they're lazy and they only want to do the bare minimum, you have the upper edge on them. Because you are willing to go out here and do the work, and you've thought about it just a little bit longer, and you haven't just said, okay, well, I'm smart so I can make this happen. No, you are going to put the action plans in place. You are going to make sure that all of the challenges that you can possibly think of, you're thinking them through. You're writing down how you're going to overcome them. What's the next step? You're doing all of this because you dominate, because you aren't going anywhere, because you are the force to be reckoned with. Yes, make your presence known. Yeah, right? You're a business owner, then you need to make sure that everybody knows about your business. Do your neighbors know about your business? Do the other business owners know about your business? Does the people in your political parts, right? Does your mayor know about your business? Like, let's get out here. Let's be known. Political parts. I don't know what that meant, by the way. Anyway, I digress. Let's keep going. Now, where was I? Still on page 15, by the way. So correctly estimate effort and thought, whether it was building a house, raising money, fighting a legal battle, getting a job, selling a new product, learning a new position, getting promoted, making a movie, or finding the right partner in life. It always took more than what people calculated. I have yet to meet anyone who claims that any of these things was easy, right? Achieving these goals may seem easy to those who are on the outside looking in, but those who know firsthand what it took would never make such a statement. All right, guys, we have to stop mis-selling and stop miscalculating. Like, we have to be very upfront. We have to be very real, because when we're real about it, then people can make a real estimation of what it is they need to do in order to reach their goal. And so we come up and we're miscalculating. We're trying to sell somebody a dream, right? And then we're giving them all of the wrong information and then wondering why it's not working, right? Like, there is, I was actually listening to someone the other day, and they were just saying that their mother, in fact, it was, who was it? I don't remember. Okay, but they were just saying that they were dating someone, or maybe it was the mother who was dating someone, right? Who had pretty much just pretended their way to be in this relationship, and then the real thing happened. And then, you know, I'm sure they were wondering why didn't this work? It's because you lied. It's because you pretended to be somebody that you're not. Guys, we have to stop pretending. I don't care what end of the spectrum you're on. Stop pretending to be something that you're not. For that job, stop pretending. For that person, stop pretending. In your family, stop pretending. Like, just be real. Be who you are. So that way everybody can make the right estimations. They can make the right moves, the right plan, and what needs to be happening in order to go forward. Okay, so when you miscalculate the effort you need to make something happen, you become visibly disappointed and discouraged. This causes you to incorrectly identify the problem. So when we're down, right, we start blaming people. We start playing in the blame game. It's everybody else's fault. It's the product fault. It's the company's fault. It's his fault. It's her fault. It's everybody's fault but your own. And so we have to stop doing that. And then it shows in your countenance, right? And we already know through the law of attraction that we studied that once you become down and discouraged, then what do you begin to attract? People who are down and discouraged. Whatever it is that's on the inside of you and whatever level that you are functioning at, that you're vibrating at, then that's what's coming in to you. That's what's being drawn to you. And that is going to hurt you if you are not utilizing the law of attraction in an intentional way. And so if you're wondering, okay, what is this law of attraction she's talking about, is utilizing your thoughts and your intentions and your emotions to bring about what it is that you want in your life. So we have to stop miscalculating the effort you need to make something happen. All right. And let me go back here to this last sentence. This causes you to incorrectly identify the problem and sooner or later assume that the target is unattainable and untimely throw in the towel. So when we start to miscalculate, we're like, okay, we're done. That's it. I'm not doing it anymore. Just like the example that I was telling you all, that somebody was like, well, yeah, God told me to do this. And then as soon as the first problem came up, they were like, okay, well, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. It's like, but I thought that you believed and that God said that all of this was for you. And then, but because they miscalculated, now here they are, done, quit, missing out, but still struggling, right? So most people, including managers, first response is to reduce the target rather than increase their activity. So I want you all to think about this. When it comes down, and even the quote that we shared earlier, when he said that it would depend on my ability to increase my efforts and not my excuses. But the first thing that we want to do is we want to decrease our efforts, decrease our target, and say, you know what, okay, and instead of going for $1,000, we're only going to go for $500, and we'll maneuver and change it around and just kind of lower all of the expectations that is there. He says, I've watched sales managers and organizations do this for years with sales teams. They give a quota or agree on a target at the beginning of the quarter, and then midway through, they find that they're unable to reach the target. But again, guys, we do this in everything. Like we're going after something, we're excited about what we're going after, and then as soon as we feel like we're not achieving what we want to achieve, then all of a sudden we start moving the target. We start reducing what it is that we're trying to get, right? And so reduce target instead of increase activity. We got to stop doing that. Increase your activity to be able to reach the target that it is that you want to reach. He says this major mistake should never even cross your mind as an option. It is a huge, huge, big mistake that when we say, okay, well, maybe you are in sales, right? I know I got some of my team members on here. So yeah, I want to make 5 sales for the week. Don't back down just because you didn't make it 1 week. Maybe you didn't make it 2 weeks. What you need to do is increase your activity. See, go back. Look at when you had the most sales. Look at what was most effective for you. And then once you've identified when you had the most sales and what was most effective, then you take that activity and that's what you increase 10 times. And then you put the thought process behind it of, okay, well, if this happens, what can I do differently? What is going to be the thing that's going to help me to overcome the different challenges that come my way? You think yourself through before you even get there. And the thing now is that you have experience to help you identify what those problems and those barriers are. Guys, we have to sit down and we have to analyze and think about our experiences for our learning and not just simply use them as a stumbling block and as an excuse on why we are where we are, but take the problems that we have encountered as stepping stones and allow it to project you forward. Okay. All right. So he says it sends the wrong message to the organization that targets are unimportant and the only way to win is the move to the finish line. A great manager will push a person to do more at the risk of coming up short, not target less. This idea of changing targets to make everyone feel good will lead to a further weakening of morale, hope, expectations, and skills, and everyone will start assigning reasons, better known as excuses, as to why the team is unable to attain its targets. We do this too often, where we move the target back. It no longer matters. And because it doesn't matter, that's how we get stuck. We get stuck in this place of being comfortable. No, we don't want to change the process because, I think when we change the process, what happens is that we get exposed. And people don't want to get exposed in the fact that they aren't living up to their full potential because they know themselves and they already feel bad about it on the inside. And they don't want you to expose them too, period. So you have to make sure, though, you don't fall for that trap. You have to make sure that you don't get caught up in that, because if you get caught up in that, then you will begin to live the mediocre life. You will just settle for whatever comes your way. You won't push yourself. You won't challenge yourself. And, I made the post the other day. Some people thought it was for me. Listen, I don't work a 9 to 5. All right. But I posed the question and I said, how long does it take for you to stay on a job that you're miserable at? Like, before you decide to make a change, how long? What has to happen in order for you to know, like, hey, I gotta go. I can't spend 40 hours, 60 hours of my life being miserable. How do you break away from that? When do you decide that you are going to break away from that? Right? And the thing is that if you get to this point that we're talking about of mediocrity, and you're getting to a point of where you're just moving targets down so that you can simply say that you reached a goal, but it wasn't your full potential, you'll never leave. You'll never leave that job where you're miserable. You'll never leave that place that you're not happy at. Why? Because you have settled. Why? Because you have moved your target. Because you're comfortable. But nothing grows in the comfort zone. Okay? So never reduce your target. If your goal is 1,000, and I'm just using money or dollars or numbers, right? Then keep it at 1,000. In fact, raise it. Make it 100,000. Make it 10,000. Do something bigger. Do something better. So that way, whatever your target is, if you miss it, then you will at least hit the initial goal. Right. Put in the work. And when you put in the work at a higher intensity, at a faster rate, then that means you can enjoy your fruits for a longer amount of time. Okay? So, never reduce your target. Increase your actions. So, let's see here. There's some good stuff that I'm skipping. So you guys got to make sure that you get this book. The 10X rule assumes the target is never the problem. The 10X rule assumes that the target is never the problem. Any target attacked with the right actions and the right amounts of persistence is attainable. Guys, never assume that the target is the problem. You are smart. You can think through the problems. You can overcome. You have to think that you can. Otherwise, you won't. It's a matter of your mindset, and then you matching your mindset with your actions. That's the 10X rule. 10 times the action, 10 times the effort, 10 times the thought process. Never reduce your target, increase your action. Yes. So apply 10 times more effort to push through all the noise in order to get people to even know about what it is that you're trying to get them to know about. So if this is find the right job, if this is find the right business, if this is find the right partner, push through 10 times more, okay? Assume that every project you attempt will take more time. It will take more money. It's going to take more energy. It's going to take more effort. and more people than you can imagine. Because when you guarantee this, and this means that you are giving way more effort than the other person. So somebody might have more money than you. They might be smarter than you, but don't allow them to outwork you. Your work ethic will be your saving grace, and your mindset behind it is going to be what pushes you in those times where maybe you feel like giving up. I moved my goal up today, moved my calorie burn up to 30 points on my watch this morning. Good job, Wilbur. All right. So let me see here. Multiply every expectation you have by 10, and you will probably be safe. And if it doesn't take 10 times more anticipated, great. It is better to be pleasantly surprised than greatly disappointed. It is better to be pleasantly surprised than greatly disappointed. Oh, you're going to be jogging with me? Awesome. Let's all get fit together. All right. Now, if you want to save time in getting your idea or product to the market, then you must make sure you do 10 times more of everything in order to be in more places with more people over shorter durations. Okay, guys? So the more you do, it's going to essentially shorten the time frame, because you're going to get it in there. You're going to get it done. You're going to be able, again, as I said earlier, to reap the benefits because you're putting in the work. You're doing what you need to do. Okay. Guys, and remember to share this video if you want to be a part of the drawing, which will have cash and gift cards and products. And we'll do that on a weekly basis, okay? So thanks to everybody who's been sharing and liking and loving and everything else, especially you, Tiana. I see you showing all the love tonight. Okay, so where are we at here? Pretty much, guys, just be prepared. Hands down. Be prepared. Make sure you plan. Think through all the problems. Understand that problems are going to come, but you have to know how to overcome them before they get there, because it's going to come. And then even if you haven't thought of that one way that the problem is going to happen, you have all of these other alternative solutions to the problem. We wait till the problem comes and then we're hitting our head against the wall because we don't know how to overcome this one problem. And whatever it is, relationships, marriage, business, right? Your job. I can't stress that enough, because it's not the situation. It is the principles that you apply to the situation that is going to change everything. It is the principles that you apply to the situations that will change everything. The problem, it's there, but problems can be solved. Everything that you are going through, somebody else has gone through, or they've gone through something that is very similar. And the things that have helped them to raise above the problems, to raise above the issues, thanks Nana for the love, to raise above all of that is the principles that are applied. That's why we're talking about the 10X rule. That's why we're talking about applying 10 times more effort, applying 10 times more thought into whatever it is that we want to achieve. And some of us don't want to think at all. We're too lazy. We are way too lazy. Stop being that way. If you're not happy with where you are, then you have to change the way that you're thinking. All right. So he says, always remember to follow through completely. That is the great common denominator of all winners. They follow through. Stop starting stuff and quitting. Stop starting and quitting. Make no excuses and adopt a take no prisoners attitude. Approach every situation with an in it to win it, whatever it takes mindset. Sound too aggressive? Sorry. But that is the outlook required to win nowadays. And not just nowadays, but all days, right? When people really stand out in history, when people really are winning and we can really hold on to their story, it's because they were persevering. It's because they had that bounce back spirit. No matter what's going to happen, I'm coming back. That's how we have to be. Whatever it takes I'm here. This is my time. I'm in it to win it. I'm dominating. I'm not going anywhere. You will know who I am. You will know my name, right? That's the type of attitude we need to have. I am a force to be reckoned with. So he says, approach. All right, read that part. Now, I know you've probably heard this before, but success does not merely happen. It is the result of relentless, proper actions taken over time. Only those who operate with the appropriate view and corresponding actions will have success. Is that you? Is that how you're operating? All right. See every action through until completion. Stop quitting. Stop quitting. See it through. Complete it. All right. Okay. So let's do a quick recap here before we hop off. Let's see how long we've been on here. Yes. Okay. What is the first reaction that most people, including managers, have when not hitting their targets? Who remembers? What is the first thing that most people do? You're not hitting your target, so what do most people do? Anybody remember our little conversation? Let's see. Drop it below if you remember. What is the first reaction most people do when you're not hitting their targets? Otis, my man, move the target. They do blame others, but move the target is the answer, right? When people aren't hitting it, they move the target. And that's what we have to stop doing. Stop moving the target, increase the action, right? Stop moving our targets, but increase the action. And so when you start making excuses for why you aren't hitting targets, what that should indicate, right? What that should indicate to you is that you have miscalculated the efforts to make something happen. So I'm going to say that again. When you start making excuses for why you aren't hitting targets, what should that indicate to you? That you have miscalculated the efforts to make something happen. See, so just like Grant was saying, he started his business and things weren't going right. And so he started blaming everybody. He started making excuses. And because of that, he had to understand that it wasn't any of those things that he was coming up with. That wasn't the problem at all. The problem was him, that he hadn't planned properly. So when we're going through something and we know, like, I know this is a good idea. I know that this is what I should be doing. But we come to a place where we're making this long laundry list of why it shouldn't be done. Those are called excuses. And so instead of focusing on those excuses or the reasons of why things are going to go wrong, you need to refocus. You need to go back to the planning and make sure that you have the proper timing, the proper effort, the proper thought, everything that you need to really make your goal happen. All right. So recalculate your efforts when you need to recalculate your efforts so that you can get on the right track. Now, the following point that he really wants us to remember, he says, fill in the following. The 10X rule assumes that the target is never the problem. The 10X rule assumes that the target is never the problem. Any target attacked with the right actions and the right amounts with persistence is attainable. Guys, whatever it is that you're going after, that if you have the right actions, right, and the right amounts of persistence, it is attainable. And he had even said at one point, right, we blame it on anything. We blame it on the snow. We blame it on the rain. The sun's too bright, right? The green grass. Somebody just cut the grass and now I can't breathe, right? We blame anything for why we can't do what it is that we want to do. But he made the example. He said, even if you want to go to the moon, it is attainable, right? Like if you want to go to a different planet, you can do it with the right amount of action and the right amount of thinking. And literally, there are people right now who are living in outer space. But it is up to us to be able to plan and to think through what it is that we want to accomplish. So the 10X rule, guys, that concludes chapter 2. All right. The 10X rule by Grant Cardone. And we will be, of course, on chapter 3 on tomorrow. Some fear. Yeah. And fear is just an excuse, though, because God has not given us a spirit of fear, but he has given us a sound mind, right? And discipline and love. Awesome, Jessica. Thank you guys so much for being on here and going through this with me, because I'm learning from it just as much as you all are learning from it. We're learning and we're doing this together. All right, so chapter 3 tomorrow, and chapter 3 is about what is success. All right, so if you haven't already shared this video, make sure you share the video so that you can be entered into the drawing to win cash prizes, gift cards, and free products. We're going to be doing a weekly drawing. Yes, Tiana. Ronald, what time? That's always a tricky question. What time about? I came on around 10:30 last night and tonight, so somewhere around 10:30 or so. All right. That will be my goal. Around 10:30-ish. 10:40-ish. Yes, I'm getting out of here with no... Wilbert, Andrew even let me use you as an example on tonight, so thank you. All right, but yeah, so you've shared the video. We're on chapter 3 tomorrow. If you haven't ordered the book already, I definitely would suggest that you get the book and read it for yourself. I know that I'm going through a lot of it, and I was just going to take it piece by piece and only share certain things, but I definitely want you all to get all the information. So even if you don't get the book and read it for yourself, you have what you need to be successful. Okay, guys, so I guess that's all I've got. You all have anything for me before I hop off of here? I'll wait. See if anybody has anything. If not, I'm going to go. And I will talk to you all later. Was this helpful? Can you all let me know if this was helpful? Just drop a yes in the comments if this was helpful for you. Hey, Cassie, what's going on? Yes? Any? Okay. I'll take the loves and the hearts as yes. Nope. Just a good night. Ha Wilbert. Very much helpful. Great, Jessica. All right, cool. I got one nope. Oh, you're going to change your answer. Cool. All right, y'all. Love y'all. This is Camille Aiko, and I hope that you are living the life that you love spiritually, mentally, physically, and financially. Awesome, Deborah. Thank you so much for tuning in. All right. Good night, guys.